Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Tasha Davenport. I'm Casbo's CEO, and welcome to the end of the week. Welcome to this member orientation. It's one of the favorite parts of my job, and thank you for being here today. My understanding is we have 110 registered, but I also understand that it's the beginning of the school year and things may change, which is why we do the recording of the session and just a few logistics as we get going. So the first is that again, we are recording. Your questions can come to us in the form of chat, if you would. We have disabled the Q&A, so if you could just get that information to us in chat, we'll take brief pauses and get those questions answered. And then, of course, at the end, we'll do the same. And just know that today, what my intention to do is to really drive you to the main areas of the really of the website. It's not a web tour, but really trying to understand as we come together at the beginning of the year, where are those major resources going to be? And so we're not going to cover all things Casbo today, but we are going to cover what can get you kind of up and running, if you will. So what I'd like to do, just to get us started, we've got about 37, it looks like, on at this moment. What I would like you to do is just in chat, we're going to do waterfall. So what I'd like you to do is put your name, district, your role, and then here's the code I want, either a 1, 2, or 3. 1 means brand new to Casbo. I probably should be explaining what the name is, California Association of School Business Officials, Casbo. So you're not very familiar with. 2, you've had a little bit of experience maybe going to a workshop or the like. Or 3, you're an expert and you know a lot about the organization. So I'm going to count to 3 and then just go ahead and waterfall that information, name, district, position, and the level of experience that you have. Got some 2s in there, that's great. All right, and the 1s, we welcome to you. 0, okay, thanks, Joyce. Hey, wonderful to see such a broad array of experience. I think regardless of what level, the 1s and 2s, goodness, 17 years, Heather, thank you. Regardless, I think you'll get some great information again on how to support yourself and how to support peers and or employees around you. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. One other little just note before we get going. I'm phoning in from Tahoe today. So if for any reason we get disconnected, we have a prior recording. We will get that to you, but my intention is to be with you for the full hour. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We'll get going. I'm going to pop in and out of this presentation because I will be, again, navigating some of the areas on the website. So we already did the waterfall. Let me just tell you briefly about Casbo. Next year, we turn 95 years old. And the association was formed for folks to come together and problem solve on the issues of school business. And that included implementation guides, evaluating policies, and then, of course, training and development and professional development in school business is really the bread and butter, if you will, of our history. So many folks, and I know around the districts, there's a lot of variance in what is school business, what entities does that cover. But let me share our definition. We have 15 professional councils. And so those professional councils, if you will, those are member leaders that lead dialogue and conversations around what the priorities and the problems are in those particular disciplines. So the 15 disciplines that we have are, boy, I'm not going to rattle them all off, but certainly we have this chief business official, accounting, finance, payroll, human resources, transportation, child nutrition, risk management, facilities, maintenance and operation, charters, special education. Oh gosh. And there's a couple more. I'm sorry, I probably should have those rattled off. I hope I didn't leave out. Oh, we have technology if I didn't mention that. But my point is that all of school business is covered under the CASBO umbrella. We're the membership organization, primarily, again, content, professional development, and resources. We pride ourselves on being a member-driven organization. And what that means is that our members in the school business community are the ones driving the priorities, whether those be legislative or content, professional development courses. That is driven by our members. So regardless of your time with CASBO, the 1, 2, or 3 we just did, and I saw, some have been in school business a really long time, we're always looking for participation, whether it be at conference or otherwise, in presenting, just to continue our mission of being member driven, really working with the practitioners in the state to bring great information and resources forward. So when we talk about your subscription benefits, I like to organize really these big buckets. CASBO is, again, here to educate in the school business profession, advocate around sound policies coming from the state. I was looking yesterday, we have an average of 175 new laws that hit education every year. Again, an average of the last 10 years, but a lot happening in that space. And then this professional network of support. Yesterday, we also launched or had our first session around a CBO study that we just finished. And again, this is just specific to CBOs, but we have about 20% or roughly 200 within 2 years of being in the job, right? And so that carries out to many of the professions that we've had through the labor shortage and the like. The ability to come in and get a network of support to answer questions is critical right now. So those are what we're going to really focus on today. Before I jump over to the website, many of you are here because of the membership that your district purchased for you, and that we call that an organizational membership. That covers our LEAs, our county offices, charters, and the like. And that membership is really just so amazing for the districts because in the past, individuals had to pay for membership. Okay, so you paid out of your own pocket. And the district membership really is focused on the school business folks. Everyone under that school business umbrella, all of those areas that I mentioned earlier are covered under the district membership. And the second part of that is that they are all, when we say covered, that is for all of our on-demand courses, all of our on-demand trainings that I'll show you in a moment. You can take as many of them as you want. If you're in transportation and you want to know more about facilities, or facilities, you want to know more about kind of the technology space, all of the courses are available. So we feel like we've done a wonderful job in supporting the field, but that's most important because the field says that they feel supported, not because of what we think. So we have associate members. Those are the businesses that provide products and services. Our retirees, we certainly welcome them and all of the great input that they have as they retire out of school business, you lucky dogs. And of course, we have another category of above associate membership, which are our corporate partners. And those are year-round partnerships. And again, I'm only doing a mention today because we're going to kind of build our knowledge over time and not do the fire hose today. So let's just jump right into this sort of first things first idea. This is Christina, who's on the line, is one of our panelists on my staff. She put this together, which is just a wonderful little starting place for all things CASBO. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to jump out, walk through the majority of the presentation from here. Let me get my... Whoops, sorry about that. One moment. There we are. All right, so I'm assuming you can see my screen. If one of my staff would let me know, I'd appreciate it.
You're all good.
All right,
Great.
thanks so much. All right, let's rock and roll. Thank you again for your patience on that. So here we are at the link that was provided in the PowerPoint. And this is just a welcome. There's a lot of ways, of course, casbo.org is the most direct way, but we want you to really start here by updating your profile. And we're going to talk about that. See this, update your profile. The profile connects you to the groups, right, that you might be in that peer group of, let's just say, accounting or payroll folks. So it's a really great way for us to be able to segment the offerings to you, so you're not getting something around transportation if you are in a field that you don't want to know anything about transportation. And it's also, again, a way for other members to connect with you. So the profile is really important. We've got this update your profile here. And when you are logged in at the top, right next to that, only when you are logged in can you see the member profile. So I'm going to jump right there. It's just a first starter to get familiar again with Casbo. As my profile comes up, what we'll be able to do is just make sure that your information is complete. You know, a lot of times there's a lot of movement in districts, so we want to make sure we have the right place to connect with you, your email, your new title. You know, a lot of times you'll have a promotion. We want to make sure that the new group that you've moved into, maybe a director's group or another part of the school business environment, that we have that information for you. This is also where later in our conversation, we're going to talk about this Casbo community. And this is going to be an area I drive you to in a little bit greater detail. But for those of you in that, well, actually for all of you, because it's a new offering, this is an online place in which you can ask questions. Folks can share resources, tools, Excel sheets. I think I get 5 requests a day that say, hey, does anybody have a, there's like 400 of us on that email. And so we're going to be pointing folks. This is relatively new. We've brought it up, haven't done a lot of promotion of it because we wanted to have it sort of intact. But this is where we'll be directing you to ask those questions, get those resources. But I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. The first really area that I want you to drive after your profile completion is in that area of educate, right? That bucket of educate. And here's some important aspects of that. Under the Learn and Grow tab is where you find Casbo Online. In here, you will find over 100 courses that are directly related to school business. They are in an on-demand format. And or they are project management, basic supervision, all courses available free of charge. You will see payroll in there, right? So let's take just a quick look. Casbo Online. Okay, so that was under Learn and Grow. I found Casbo Online. And now I'm going to just take a quick look at the online course catalog, just to give you a sense of the online learning community. This is really important. If you're in management or supervision and you have someone brand new starting, point them right here. Point them to get that first week to get oriented with a topic that makes sense for maybe the work that they do. For yourself, right, as well. So here we see in the store 1099, advanced budgeting. We've got booster organization, best practices, free for members, right? You see free for members. There are courses in there that we still charge for in terms of outside of the online budget basics and beyond. So let me pick this one. I'm going to show you a little bit of a nuance because we have to go to a shopping cart, and I want to show that to you. So I want to enroll in that class. I selected, this particular course of budget basics. Where'd that go? Sorry about that. Okay, it's been added to my cart. So I do need to check out, even though it's free. And so the checkout process is really simple. You'll see it click right through. You get an email that confirms that order, and there you go. So then I'm going to go back to my Casbo Online, right? That page that I had. And now when I look at this already enrolled in the course, then I'm able to see, I am not enrolled in this course, by the way. So, but I'm able to see that these courses have now been added to my lineup. That one might take another minute, but it would happen right here. It's always the trick when you do a tech, a tech overview, but you'll have this added. And then when you start the course, when you simply click on it, and begin the coursework, that is where your courses, right? It says whoops, nothing there because I'm not taking a course right now, but your courses, your progress in those courses and what's been completed would be there. So that's Casbo Online. It's a wonderful tool for our HR resources that are using that to orient folks as they come on board, deliver them right there. And that again is under Learn and Grow Casbo Online. In here, you'll also find, and again, I won't go through all of it, but you've got our calendar of events. We offer certifications for our school business professionals. A very important aspect of what we do here is to actually add that credential, if you will, to the business profession. And we've got a really talented team on board refining the CBO certification. We also have our payroll concepts. We have transportation certification. So all that information we find in there. Our big events, right? Our annual conference, CBO Symposium coming up, the CBO program, that is that CBO certification, right? And some of these bigger topics, bigger venues that I was sharing earlier. And so again, pretty self-explanatory. One that I want to drive you straight to, though, is also the professional roundtables. These are informal roundtables that are peer-led. So the person that leads our accounting professional council, a practitioner in the field, on the fourth Tuesday of each month, host this particular topic. And it's a way for folks to come together and just, share frustrations, share practices of how they're, how they're working and they're on a particular topic. There's a lot of feedback. There's a great representation of more experienced and maybe newer to the position. And so we've had CBO Roundtable going for a year. Accounting, financial services, and HR came up this month. Just for the first time, and you'll see the reflective schedule. And then the Women in Leadership has grown to 400 women participating. That's led by Lisa Gonzalez, a CBO out of the Mount Diablo area. And so again, another great support when we talk about all of us in school business. It's a place to jump in, ask questions. Some of them have put together, because they like structure, a schedule of what they want to be talking about, and otherwise it's free form. Okay, so again, just a really important place for you to be. All right, we've covered the big events. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I do want to jump back in really quick to the certifications. We have the information on those certifications here. And just to mention that we will continue to build out certifications for each one of the disciplines that we serve. We're tracking at about 2 to 3 per year as we continue to build those out. All right, the calendar, again, it seems self-explanatory, but this does have the events from around the state. So Casbo has 7 sections, geographic sections throughout the state. And it's in those sections that they also have events and professional council in-person meetings. And so you find the entire calendar led, discussed here. Northern section, they've got a fall education and social event. You also see the courses that we offer outside of the on-demand format. They're still virtual, but we call them virtual live or virtual presenter led. So in this example, of course, we've got performance management and people skills, some CalSTRS and PERS, right, all coming up in the next month. And our team's just done an amazing job rolling out 3 pages of events coming up. And so you can really dig in there. All right, I'm going to do just a quick little, make sure there's nothing. Oh, goodness. Make sure. Okay, there we have a little action. All right. Do any of the courses offer CPE credit for CPA license? Andrew, not at this time. We are entering a partnership with Cal CPA. I have the letter of intent on my desk, and you will see something happening pretty quickly there. Drop down for professional roundtables. Michelle, if you didn't find that, we can reach out. First, you should be logged in. That's one of the things you'll want to make sure you do is log into the system. And
hey, Tasha.
Yeah.
I did just send Michelle the link in the chat, but it looks like that if you look, you're in the mycasbo.org. And so I think we need to have our header menu updated here. I think we've made some changes that isn't reflecting on this particular page. But if you just go to casbo.org, regular old casbo.org, you can even just click the Casbo logo in the upper left-hand corner to go back to the main website. It'll be there. I think this is a product of this being a slightly different, technically a different website. So
all right,
I'll put it on my to-do list.
Thanks, Christina. I appreciate that. And sorry for any confusion for our audience. So now, as you see, I'm back to the casbo.org main page. I am logged in, right? If you're logged in, that's when you get the option to log out. And then we're back to that learn and grow menu. So again, thank you. I'm going to jump now, jump tracks over here. I said educate, right? One of our biggest buckets. Advocate is the next one, and then professional support, that network of support. So let me just share with you advocate. One of the really one of the interesting aspects of our work, as I mentioned earlier, 175 education law changes per year. And the way that happens is because someone had an idea, right, for either a way to improve education or, they have a perceived problem and they go to their local politician and see if that person will carry that water, if you will, through a bill. And I would say we probably see on average about 400 education bills a year. Many are well-intended and they sound good in theory, but in terms of practicality, they can be very, very challenging. So our advocacy, and I always want to make sure we're clear on this, we are not voting for a public representative. Our advocacy is purely bill and policy related. So, what does that mean? We have a legislative committee of members from all sizes and districts, size of districts and geographies. And we also have members on that legislative committee from the business areas that we've talked about. So when a bill comes in, we're able to evaluate that bill from all of the perspectives. So when we think about the transportation bill just recently, right, as an example, electric buses, sounds interesting. And, there's a lot of environmental push on that. And there was a lot of money behind that in the form of these, specific plans and grants and things like that. But when we analyze the requirements of that bill, it would require, right, the timing of the requirement was not feasible. Buses can't even be purchased and received for 16 months. So the bill had an expiration timing for which districts would get that done. That's a problem. The infrastructure, right, to plug them in, the mechanics in our Northern California, the buses can't get the kids to their student activities and back. They don't last that long on the battery. If you have a maintenance problem, the bus is going to be out because there aren't enough maintenance workers working on electric buses right now. You're going to have your bus out for maybe 3 months. So those are the kind of really practical applications. When we look at our bills, we take a position on that bill. We either oppose it, we support if it has amendments, and we make those recommendations. Our legislative committee really advocates around three areas. One is a sustainable budget. And that is why in our last budget round, there was a lot of money in the budget, but it was set up in all of those plans and programs, which creates two things. One, inequity. Not everybody needs, electric buses, but most do need buses. But we want flexibility for what fits our environment. So the grants, or the different programs create an equity. So some get buses if they go that path. Others that need buses but just can't support the electric had trouble with that. The other issue with the categoricals or these grants is the complexity of reporting that comes with them. So in that example, for all of the bills that come across our legislative committee's plate, we are always advocating for a sustainable budget, a flexible budget. We want decisions to be made at the local level. And by sustainable, what we mean is let us put the money, I'm sorry, that's flexible. We want put the money in the overall pot, right, in the base, and let us determine what is best for our students based on our community. Sustainable, of course, is not one-time funds, right? We've all agreed there are important programs coming forward, universal meals, a lot of important programs coming forward for our students, but those funds expire in 2 years. And that's why your CBO and your finance folks are running around like, that they're concerned, right? We have this wealth of money, but they're concerned because those funds run out. And then what do we say back to the community? That those programs weren't important, right? When we're hiring staff now or trying to hire staff in our labor shortage, those funds are really needing to be long-term support. So, that I just want to really spend a moment on that here. It looks like we've got some changes being made here, but one of the things is, if we wanted to look at, I'll see if this works, electric buses, right? You may not know the bill number, but you might know those keywords of electric bus, and we can find nothing on that one. So I apologize. This is where, though, this is where, let's see if I can get a bill in here. This is where we put all things bills. This is where you'll be able to see the bills that, again, session's about to close, but the positions we've taken on those bills. We have our news break, which is what are the latest and greatest things coming out from the state, the policymakers you see here, CDC issues. And so all things advocacy are going to be in this area. What's most important for you to know, I think here, again, as session's kind of coming to a close. So we're really just gearing up for the next session, the next slew of bills. But throughout the state, we have added local networks of advocacy. And if you are interested in that, you'll see a count me in at casvo.org that can help you with participating in our local advocacy area. So a very important aspect. I'm sorry I didn't do a good job there on navigating the site, but just know that it's an advocate and impact. And you see the bills, the campaigns there. All right, I'm now moving to the professional network of support. And there's a few areas that you can get that the support that you need. So one of the first is moving over here. Sorry. One of the first is this informed and involved. And I want to point you to sections. We have those geographies throughout the state, and those are known as our sections. And there's a really nice map that shows you geographically, for example, the blue Shasta Cascade. Look at this. Look at Eastern section, how huge that area of the state is. And of course, this lists out for you the counties that are involved in that area. So one is to know the section that you're in. And then the second is to understand that we have committees and councils, right? Professional councils. So for example, I'm here in the Accounting Professional Council. We've got a chair, We have participants, a representative. We're always looking to expand these. Some of our professional councils have 6, 7, 8 members, and they're the ones that come together and talk about priorities. Where do we need professional development and learning at the state and local level? So these folks are wonderful resources for you. If you'd like to participate on a professional council, that's another area of support. Let's see, I want to jump into communities that I sort of mentioned earlier as a really key new support area for our folks. And we have not yet promoted this wildly, just we were working through, you know, any little tech glitches, but let me just show you a couple of things that might be helpful to know. First, when you look at going back to your profile, right? In my member profile, this is pulling off of my member profile and groups that I am involved in, and you'll also see them back over in your member profile. But as I look at this list, there are, of course, private. And so the CBO group, roundtable group, excuse me, not roundtable, online community is a private group. It is only for CBOs. There's a pre-approval process to be placed into there. And then, they ask questions. And a lot of times what we'll see is on the roundtable, that call that they have every other Friday at 7:30. On that call, they'll say, yeah, I do have a resource for that. And we see them popping it in here. So a couple things just as we look at their listing. First, there's a way to manage your notifications. The default, you can look at every single post that comes into that community, which can be a lot. You can have just a summary that happened throughout the day, and of course, you know, a weekly digest. So I believe the default is set on weekly, that you could see those types of question answer, but that's for you to determine. We can see here Robin Schmidt, he's one of our board members and a CBO. He's asking the group, you know, what topics they might be interested in. They've got a couple answers in there on that. Here's one: are the principal secretaries at your middle school 11 months or 12 months, right? So there's all kinds of tools in here, your ability to not only post a question, but your ability to also post a tool. We see a lot of Excel sheets and tools flying around. You can certainly poll, as we saw in Tina's asking a question, and then of course other members that are in the round, excuse me, I keep saying roundtable, in the community are there as well. So we are again bringing up our communities. You're going to be seeing some marketing. Christina, who piped in earlier, she handles all of our marketing. And so we'll be doing some pushes to really point you directly to how do we find support from CASBO and that peer lineup of members. All right, let me just make sure we talked about state events. Make sure I'm caught up here. All right, I'm going to just drop out of here and make sure that I have any questions answered. All right, it looks like, yeah, thank you, Christina, for managing all those questions that came in. I appreciate that. And let me just take you again to the last slide, and we'll just, you know, give you back the gift of time. Who doesn't need that today, right? 1 second here. All right, make sure I covered everything here. Let's see. We've talked about the events coming up. I think these are a couple of them are a little bit outdated, but a couple I do want to mention, of course, is annual conference, April 4th through 7th. That's in Long Beach. And I also want to mention, if you're a CBO, when we talk about the CBO certification, we really listen to the field to find that, you know, our original program, 16 months, and it was Friday nights and Saturdays, and the adult learners just like that just doesn't work for us anymore. And of course we value the in-person, and we value everyone's time, but they really demanded something slightly different. So our team has redesigned. We have an aspiring CBO. That's if you want to go into that field, you believe that's the direction you'd like to take. There's a certification program there for aspiring. And then there's also an accelerated CBO. So, we're talking like a 7-month program. It takes place on Fridays during the business day. We're moving, very quickly to get, again, the CBOs prepared for that role. So if you don't see something that is aligned with what your needs are, reach out. We've got a big list of programs that we're working on. And we may have that in development, or we may just need to help you find where you can find those resources. There are other programs out there that we have great partnerships with, and we just want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the field first and foremost. We've talked about certification. We've talked about advocacy. I'm just flying through these. I want to make sure, point out anything that's critical. The newsletters go out every other Tuesday. Christina on the call also is responsible for those. And those will have articles on, school business. Those will also be where you find, how do I apply for a leadership position in CASBO? What positions are open? And really just top of mind issues facing us today. And so all things are going to be in the newsletter, including our section events and activities from the professional councils. So yeah, the final stretch here as we wrap up, and I'll again check back really quickly with chat, is again, advocacy, professional development, and a professional network of support. I think that's the best way to summarize what your LEAs have purchased for you in the subscription. But don't hesitate to reach out, should you have questions for us. The other thing I want to encourage you to do, because I see some great experience, and even if you're new, again, to CASBO, we welcome different perspectives. New perspectives give us the ability to solve problems in a different way. If we have folks that want to be involved in advocacy, right? Count me in at CASBO. Count me in at casbo.org allows us to plug you in, or at least reach out to you. Hey, we've got, we have a need for the advocacy network in the central section. Hey, count me in. We have the need for folks to work on key test questions for our certifications, right? There's an array, and we are a member-driven organization. So if you would like to participate in any of the structures that we have, please count me in at CASBO. Okay. And then finally, as we close out, if we can just put into chat, what's the most interesting or helpful aspect of the orientation, or one priority or problem that we can help you with right now. We will digest those after this session. My email is there if you want to reach out to me directly, but let's waterfall in chat. Most interesting or helpful, and is there any particular problem we can be helping you with right now? We can feed a roundtable with that. We can feed a community question with those as they come in. And with that, I'll stop sharing and just check over here what we have. Okay, great. The certification's wonderful. Oh, all right. The on demand. You're going to find those to be so helpful just to get oriented, and we continue adding. So you'll see that library really expand. Thank you. All right. Yes. And okay, wonderful. Yeah, the community will keep expanding, online courses. And again, I just want to remind you, you can take any of them in there, and the folks around you, right? Anyone sitting next to you, go, hey, did you know, are you interested in payroll? There's some courses in there. It's everyone that works in the school business environment. So, really jump into that to build your knowledge level. And that, keep in mind one other thing when you think about like career development. as we see a large retirement, I'll just use the CBO, we see 25% retiring in the next 2 years. They're pulling from folks internally 40% of the time. And so that creates, right, that upward movement. So get yourself, get yourself ready for those promotions. They're coming fast and furious in school business because of turnover and retirements and other reasons. So yeah, let's see. Oh, good, Heather. I'm glad you got to see this. Ashley, no, your organization, it sticks with the district. So it'll be important if you change organizations. We, ask if they are a member. I will tell you, I don't have the pricing in front of me. It's very affordable. It's $850 a year if you're like a 500 size district. In fact, I probably have it right here. I shouldn't just.
Hey, Tasha.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in for Ashley. Any courses you take that you have earned credits for, your history, that does stay with you, but the things that are available to you, if you're a member, an employee at an organizational district, and you leave that district for one that's not an organizational membership, your access to things might change, but anything you've already done, that's recorded with you.
Oh gosh, thanks, Christine. This is why you have your staff on the phone and these kinds of things, because you're just like riffing sometimes. In terms, I misread the question, so thank you for that clarification.
Of course, yeah, little nuance. Yes.
Yep. Thank you. But yeah, the pricing is on the website. But just one of the, like I said, it's just so affordable. Like a LAUSD with all the folks in business services are paying, just north of $5,000. A small district would pay $850 a year. If you looked in that shopping cart when we were doing that, if you're a non-member, those courses are $450, right? So if it's a pretty easy ROI, and our membership also gives you very significant discounts to both certifications as well as annual conference and our workshop. So if you're in a position of determining whether you should be a CASBO member or not, really look at the professional development, who you're going to send to the events and the like, and it's a pretty easy ROI from there, return on investment. All right. The recording for this, Christina, where will they find the recording?
The previous session we did for this is on that welcome page that you showed everybody earlier, and then everybody in attendance, anybody who registered but had to miss, we'll be sending you an email with the recording, the slides, and any other little tidbits of information that we included or went over here today. So you'll get an email today, tomorrow, Monday at the latest.
All right, thank you. Any other questions we can answer for you before we give you back your 15 extra minutes of time?
Francesca just asked about something, an online course for attendance accounting. Francesca, I'm looking in the CASBO online catalog, and we have pupil attendance accounting for school site personnel, and that is free for members. So if you go into the CASBO online catalog and you just put attendance into the search bar, I think you'll be able to find something you might be looking for.
All right, I'm going to answer a quick question here about certification program. I'm going to use CBO as my example. The certification program, again, depending on whether you chose like the accelerated, we have 2 cohorts in person per year, one in Northern California, one in Southern California. Those are in person. And then we also have again, a hybrid virtual model like we're doing now with the presenters. So once a person goes through the certification program, a 6-month program, and taking all of those courses and meeting the criteria in those courses, which include quizzes and the like. And by the way, our certification programs are built on research of the competencies of a CBO, right? So the fiscal, the accounting, leadership competencies, advocacy is actually a competency of CBOs nationally. And so once you have finished the program, then within 30 days, you're required to take, so first you can just finish the program, right? Finish it. Thank you. That's what I did. I went through BEL, the 16-month version, but I just finished it, and here we go. If you want to have a certification though, you will sit for an exam 30 days after your course has ended. And then you have the CASBO CBO certification, and you'll have CEUs, that continuing education units, that you'll have requirements for in the years going forward to keep that certification. I would highly recommend, if you are a CBO, you get in a certification program. We believe that the state is going to go the direction of a required certification. And of course, we would be working to grandfather requirements and things like that. But I would suggest get into one of them. I've mentioned ours. We're putting through about 120 folks this year. USC has a school business program that qualifies to sit for the exam as well. And FCMAT has a CBO program. So you go through any of those programs, 30 days later, within 30 days, you're sitting for your exam, and then you have your CASBO CBO certification. So hopefully that helped. All right. Hey, have a great day. Thanks for spending your morning with us. And most important, thank you for what you do to support our students in the state. It's always the behind the scenes work. It's hard work. And I just really appreciate that, that you do that work, that you're a part of CASBO, and we appreciate you. Have a great one.